Hey Lexi, since we're talking about pro wrestling again today, I want to take a second to acknowledge some of the recent deaths in the world of professional wrestling. Starting with one that is only tangentially connected to wrestling, as Bob Barker passed away at the ripe old age of 99. Now, of course, Barker was probably best known as the host of The Price is Right, but he did do a well-received shot with WWE back when they were doing the guest GM deal on Raw. And just a few days before we started recording this, I found out that the former Billy White Wolf and one-time General Adnan back during the ill-fated Sergeant Slaughter Iraqi sympathizer days in the WWF, Adnan Al-Qasai passed away. I'd been reading about Adnan in his role as Billy White Wolf a lot lately because I read Mike Rogers' book, Katie Bar the Door, about the Portland wrestling scene. And from there we get to probably the most well-known wrestler who passed away recently, and that, of course, the legendary Terry Funk. And, of course, his age and recent health issues made it not so much a surprise, but still a shocking passing when someone like that goes. I would not be the best person to eulogize Terry Funk. Many others have done it. I know Mick Foley and Bruce Pritchard and Jim Cornette did so on their podcasts. I'm sure Dave Meltzer wrote a very wonderful obituary for him in the Wrestling Observer. I heard Conrad Thompson refer to him as your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And I know, like in the case of Mick Foley, that's certainly true, as Mick revered Terry. He, never missed the opportunity to talk about him. He said he was not only on his Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, but was the foundation of it. And one thing I can say about Terry is, you hear a lot of stories, especially if you're really into a community like I am with professional wrestling, so I read a lot and listen to a lot about pro wrestling, and there's a lot of talk about Terry Funk, but I never hear anything negative about Terry, both as a wrestler and as a person, so take that for what it is. And then finally, probably the most shocking of the deaths, just because of his relatively young age. I mean, he was younger than me. Bray Wyatt, real name Wyndham Rotunda, passed away. And I don't want to turn his death into a PSA, but apparently he had an existing heart condition. He got COVID earlier this year. He was apparently recovering and then just took a turn for the worse and had a heart attack, and just like that, he's gone. So maybe his death can at least be a wake-up call to somebody, to still take precautions, realize the seriousness of this disease and what impact it can have on your life and the life of others. Wear a mask, keep your vaccines up to date, test. If you're sick, stay home. Even if you're not sick, try to avoid overcrowded areas, especially when people aren't masking, and hopefully one less family will be missing a family member. But for Bob and Adnan and Terry and Wyndham, and for everybody else that we've lost, whether it be from COVID or yet another senseless shooting, or even for those who are lucky enough to live long enough to say they died of old age but are no less missed for it, we're going to have a moment of silence, and then we'll get the conversation started. Well, hello and welcome to LexiCon. It is Maddie.
Lexi.
And Dylan.
And that was a relatively long, cold open, so we're going to get right into the proceedings here as we're watching an episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw from 20 years ago, September 15th, 2003. Yay. And we're watching this not only because it's the 20th anniversary of the show, but because yours truly was there live in the crowd.
Nice.
I was not.
You were not even born yet.
That's fact.
Alex was, but she was still a little thing. We didn't feel like she should be at a wrestling show. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Where were you?
Well, yeah.
You were with your mother.
But she totally showed up in a wrestling show.
You were what, 2.5?
Yeah.
I'd have taken Johnny to a show at 2.5.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
He's become more lenient.
I was the first kid. He's like, yeah, no, we can't expose her to that yet.
Maybe I just didn't want to pay for another ticket. Anyway,
I gotta pay for a ticket for a freaking 2-year-old.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't, so I don't know.
It feels like you shouldn't. It's like the 2-year-old ain't got
It depends on the event, though. Who's
taking a 2-year-old to a WWE event lately? Did you have to pay for a ticket? Let us know in the comments on YouTube and in the comments down below on the podcast feed.
Yes.
With
or on our social media, all of which is in the descriptions of the show, wherever you may be listening to it. But yeah, we're going to get right into it. And for those of you watching along with this, presumably on Peacock, unless you happen to have an old VHS of this, it's going to be Peacock, then you got to go to WWE, then Raw, then once you go to Raw, there's the first little Monday Night Raw box that has all the seasons in it. This is going to be Season 11, Episode 37. Again, it's from September 15th, 2003. And if you're not watching along with us, hopefully we'll be entertaining enough to have you enjoy the show. But for those of you that are watching along with us, we're going to give you a countdown. We'll say 3, 2, 1, and when I say play, we'll all click play. And I will try to give a couple of time cues throughout the show as well. We've got just over an hour and a half of show to go, so unless y'all have something you really need to get in before we start, I say we get into it.
Alright.
Alright, so we have the episode of Raw up. We have it all zeroed out, so as soon as we press play, we're going to get into the show proper. Hopefully you do as well if you're watching along. And here comes the countdown, and then we're going to get into it. So, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yay.
Music. I always like the WWE or WWF. Y'all know I'm going to say WWF half the time, because that's still what it is to me. So, I love the World Wildlife Fund.
Oh,
I love their intro. Like, just had an energy and an intensity. This is not necessarily my favorite of them, but I thought they were all pretty good. That's Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think they were like the co-GMs of Raw at the time.
Just the flash of the PNGs of them was so funny.
And there's Triple H with the big gold belt. I think they just instituted that title around this time because
He's wearing Vegeta's shirt.
They had unified the WWF and the WCW titles about a year or so after WCW was purchased by the WWF. And then they had one champion, but then when they did the brand split, so they had a group of wrestlers exclusive to SmackDown and a group of wrestlers exclusive to Raw, they made Brock, who was the unified champion at the time, exclusive to SmackDown. So then on Raw, Eric Bischoff came out and said, we're instituting a new World Championship, and it's the World Championship, with no technical lineage to any championships before it, but of course it was the former World Championship Wrestling and NWA belt, or at least a facsimile thereof. So a lot of people will connect it to that, but technically a separate championship, which itself was unified with the other championship right around the time of Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement, so like 2013, 2014.
Nice.
Those championships were unified. And wait a minute, and in 2016, they came out with the Universal Championship, so we had the World Wrestling Federation Championship, which had been unified with two other championships, and the Universal Championship. And then Roman Reigns, for all intents and purposes, unified those at WrestleMania in 2022. And then just recently on Raw, they brought out the new World Championship that Seth Rollins currently has, which again has no technical connection to any other championships. But so we have one championship that's been unified between like 4 other championships and the World Championship. And I'm just wondering how long before it gets unified into the main championship.
There's a building like a giant fusion of championships.
Something like that.
Here's the traditional style Raw intro with the quick cuts and the loud music and the sexy girls and the clips of the wrestlers.
You said the World Wildlife Foundation or whatever, so I was just imagining...
Fun,
whatever it is. But I was just imagining like a commercial in the style of one of these intros,
like
but with like the animals and the panda and stuff, yeah.
Pandas wrestling?
I'll expect that animated on my desk by Tuesday.
I want pandas wrestling.
I can edit together some video clips. I don't know if I can animate that.
Would a panda use a bear hug as their finisher?
Yes.
At the University of South Carolina. Now, this was the Colonial Center, the more recent arena that they opened up right around this time. I think it opened up the year before, of course. The night show... No, we didn't watch night show. We watched... Did we watch the night show that I attended?
I don't think so.
I think we just watched Thunder, but the Thunder that I attended and the night shows that I attended were at the Carolina Coliseum, which was the basketball arena for the University of South Carolina. But then they opened the Colonial Center literally right across the street. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the SmackDown we went to for Thanksgiving the year before was one of the first events there.
Yeah. Dude. Look at all the signs.
Yes, though.
None of them are as creative as some of the other ones we've seen. Honestly.
So do you prefer Raw or SmackDown?
I'm not sure.
Total.
I don't like that person's pants.
There's someone with a sign that says Total with an arrow pointing down at them.
I see that.
I just assumed there's a Total in the audience now.
That would be amazing.
Maybe they're from the World Wildlife.
Yep. Definitely. How do you feel about that guy's pants? Because I'm not liking them.
I don't care.
I don't
They don't seem to match the shirt very well.
No, they don't. Not at all.
It looks like he got dared to wear those pants.
Who's the guy talking?
That's Chris Jericho with the sign.
Great. He needs better fit.
A wrestler that I was a big fan of until I found out that he was essentially a COVID denier, a Trump donator, and his wife and mother-in-law were at the insurrection, not participating, but just watching and dismissing it as nothing more than normal activity.
Interesting.
So, not a fan of Jericho's anymore.
And he has shitty pants.
He has both questionable fashion choices and life choices.
I have heard stories of wrestlers shitting their pants in the ring.
Great, do you see those fucking pants?
Jericho's? Those are just his wrestling tights. I thought you were talking about Christian's pants.
No!
Those weird 70s looking pants.
His pants don't match his outfit.
Do go with his shirt.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. But yeah, no, his Jericho's pants aren't doing it.
Christian's got the Intercontinental Championship on his shoulder. That's not my favorite Intercontinental Championship design. That's the one that followed the classic, more rectangular design. And this one's fine. I actually like it better than the current version, but not my favorite championship. It of course sort of, you see, it sort of started the trend of having the big WWE logo right there in the center. Much smaller on that one, much less pronounced. Not like that hideous belt that Roman wears. To be fair, the World Championship that Rollins has is much better as a belt design.
There's a Hi Mom sign.
That's cool.
So, Mandy, do you prefer Raw or SmackDown?
Now or back? I mean, Raw's always felt like the flagship show to me. It's the one that went live first and has been live more often than not, although I think SmackDown is technically live now, and Raw has been taped at times as well. And it was the first show of the two, of course. It goes all the way back to 93, of course, celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. But yeah, no, Raw's always been... Now, that doesn't mean that at times SmackDown wasn't a better show. I remember around this time, maybe a couple years earlier, a couple years after, SmackDown had a lot of really good in-ring wrestling on it. Had a lot of really good in-ring wrestlers on the show, and it was focused more on the wrestling, and so I enjoyed that a lot. And so there would be periods where one show would be better than the other, and then there was like the Katie Vick era where I just tuned out of Raw completely, which we've talked about before. But by and large, yeah, I'll take Raw over SmackDown. But again, they're not that different. Even when they have the brand split, half the time wrestlers end up crossing over, so... Did you have more to say on that since you brought it up? Steve sure tells us to drink beer. I'm not going to drink beer. I'm not a beer man.
Okay. Have you ever taken a sign to a wrestling show?
No, I haven't. I considered it once or twice. I thought about bringing a Cloud Fear Sephiroth sign.
Do you think someone's going to get hit with one of those signs?
I would say there's a very good likelihood that it would happen.
Okay, so were you sitting low enough for you to possibly be visible?
Nice, probably in the very back.
I think we might have been on those upper rows. You see how you have the ring side, of course, and then you have the lower bowl where the seats start to go up. I think we might have been in the lower bowl for this show, but fairly high up. So it would take a lot of detective work.
What clothes were you
I don't remember. Like I said, when I went to SmackDown on Thanksgiving, I explicitly wore a white T-shirt and my black jacket with the white stripes and my red Christmas hat. But I was also ringside for that show. So for the other shows, I didn't necessarily think about it that much.
So all I'm hearing is after we record the show,
if we go through it frame by frame,
that'll be the picture.
Possible we can find us. Like, possible.
It's possible.
And I mean, I would have been dressed similar to how I'm dressed now, because I've been dressed in the same way for 30 years.
You wore more colors back then, I feel
like.
But,
nah.
Yeah.
Every now and then. I still wear color sometimes. But yeah, I have no clue what I may or may not have been wearing. Speaking of apparel, this is the show where I got you your Lita t-shirt.
Nice.
The one that, was a sleep shirt for you for years, and then you eventually grew into. Because I wanted to bring you home some kind of souvenir, and I guess maybe they didn't have any sort of plushies or anything, so...
When did I get my Batista bear?
That was when we went to SmackDown together, you, Casey...
I was going to say, I was pretty sure I was with
Yeah, you,
y'all.
Casey, Marcus, and I went to SmackDown. That was after Dylan was born. We thought he was too little to go. But I'm not sure of the year. I would think like maybe 2005.
So like the same year.
So Dylan would have been a baby when we went. And
we've been to wrestling, so not
it was like closer to the holidays, like December time. Yeah, and again, but it was the year he was born, so he was really just an infant. He wouldn't have gotten anything out of it.
Yeah.
That's when you got your stuffed Batista, and then we went to the TNA house show in 2010. That's when y'all got the Sting Bears.
Nice.
Christian and Jericho, of course, both wrestle for AEW now. And Steve still works with the WWE on some projects, but he's not an active wrestler anymore. I mean, he'd be a little old for it now, but to be fair, Sting's older than him, and he still wrestles occasionally. But Steve had neck issues that forced him out of wrestling.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe what's going on. There's a lot of talking still.
Yeah, it was very common, really from the Attitude Era on through, maybe even nowadays today. I don't watch the show every week, but to have a long opening in-ring promo segment involving multiple wrestlers that would either play off stuff that had been going on or would set up stuff for later in the night or for the upcoming pay-per-view, which are now known as premium live events, but I'm sorry, I still call them pay-per-views.
Reasonable.
To me, that doesn't even mean you have to pay to view it. It's just slang for the big wrestling show that you see on TV.
Yeah.
It's not a Clash of the Champions.
I think while you were out of the room, Gaba pointed out another sign that I don't currently see being held up, but it said turtle and had an arrow pointing down.
Oh my gosh, your fantasy wrestler Tough Turtle was in the crowd.
Apparently.
This is his origin story. He went to Raw in 2003 and then decided he wanted to become a wrestler.
Yup.
Wow, and I shared a crowd with him.
And you didn't know it.
Or did I?
And there's Seth.
Oh. Christian rolling up his
So
sleeves.
some guy named Seth.
Looking like he wants to get froggy with the bionic redneck. No, Jericho, you do it. This is your fight. I'm not crazy.
There's two signs in the
Steve
ring.
Austin,
Someone's gotta get hit.
Although, to be fair, when the World Wrestling Federation Championship and the World Championship Wrestling Championship were unified back at Armageddon 2001, it was Chris Jericho who unified them, beating both The Rock and Steve Austin in the same night.
I don't like the fact that Jericho's tights are partially colored to look very similar to his skin.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite the right color, but it's just so similar.
That you have a strange perspective. I just didn't see that at all. I'm sorry. I guess, but I just see it as like golden tights. You just want to see some skin.
No,
You're like,
I
I'm not
don't.
seeing enough skin here, boys.
No.
I like the little trunks. Come on. I need to see the package.
I want to see him
And I
make
don't mean
better
Lex
fashion
Luger.
choices.
It's like the colorful pants with the...
Did he make that choice or did somebody else make it for him?
He made that choice.
I have questions.
By and large, especially the bigger wrestlers, once you get into a big company like WWE, but certainly when you're on the independents and whatnot, you're in charge of your gear and how you dress. I mean, you might have to get certain things approved, but I mean, believe me, nobody's telling Seth Rollins to dress the way he does. Unless they're high as fuck.
You know, that's possible.
Oh, the crowd's erupting. Oh, RVD, one of my 5 favorite wrestlers of all time, who we met at that TNA house show we went to.
Nice.
He told me to have a nice weekend.
Did you?
Probably.
Nice.
Better if I had a nice weekend.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like aggressive. You better fucking have a nice weekend. He's like, have a nice weekend. Yeah, RVD's long been on my list of favorite wrestlers. He still wrestles occasionally. He just did a match for AEW not that long ago.
Nice.
I didn't see it because I don't have cable and AEW's not available on the streaming service, but...
I'm sorry.
Spinning wheel kick by RVD takes down Christian and Jericho attacks him from behind, going at him with
The
a flurry of
signs are delaying
punches.
now. I'm disappointed.
I guess
No one got hit by a sign.
I guess this is actually an official match.
He lost the bandage thing.
The winner of this match will meet... Okay, so the winner of this match will meet... It said the champion, but they mentioned the Intercontinental Championship, so I guess the winner of this match gets to wrestle Christian, so I guess that's a little awkward for Jericho. Why would he even want to win it?
I have no idea.
I guess you never really want to take the L. I always like Rob Van Dam's gear.
Uh-huh.
He wore the singlet, which I was a big fan of. Oh, commercial break. I don't think we're actually going to get a commercial there, though.
No.
If we didn't have premium, we'd get a commercial. That's one thing that's annoying about watching like the pay-per-views on Peacock, is they'll randomly fade to black because they're putting in commercials there for if you're not paying the extra money to eschew with the commercials.
His tights look a little better now that he's lost the shirt.
Jericho's?
Yeah.
What do you think about Rob Van Dam's gear, though? Because he wears the
Yeah, it looks
singlet,
fine.
which I like. I was a real fan of the singlets back then.
I really like the singlets.
But he also wears like some... I don't know what they're called, but he's got those... Traction is not the right word. Do you know what I'm talking about? Compression shorts underneath. And they make his singlet look like it's extended a little bit, because I always like the longer shorts. And I like the boots with the kick pads. And he's got the tape on his fists. Yeah, I liked RVD's look a lot.
Nice.
If I'd been a pro wrestler back then, that's kind of what I would have wanted to look like.
Okay, the turtle sign just went down again. But the high mom sign
turtle is
right in front
down.
of it.
Yeah, I've seen the high mom sign. With RVD's tights, I always had that airbrushed look on them. I mean, I guess it's...
See, now you can see the color difference, and you can also see the shine on that part.
Yeah.
The shirt kind of hid that.
I mean,
and clashed with
Jericho's gear is fine, but I definitely prefer Rob's.
Yeah.
Personal feelings for either wrestler aside. And I don't know anything about Rob's personal views. I know he was in a 3-year relationship a couple years ago.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I respect. They called themselves a throuple.
Uh-huh.
And that's the first time I heard that term.
Interesting.
Still sounds kind of stupid. Not doing it, just the term itself.
I have no opinions on it.
Irish whip. Jericho up on the ropes.
The lights
gets
almost
caught. Drop
matched
kick.
Jericho's tights.
You're obsessed with Jericho's
No, I just
tights.
noticed the same colors Also, they're kind of shiny and stuff, and there's only so much happening.
Christian
so.
holding his boob.
That's one thing to do when you're not in the ring. See those lights back there? They have the same color scheme.
I saw some green lights.
Okay.
You're talking about on the Raw set?
Yes.
Or some lights actually in the arena?
No, I think it's part of the big setup.
Rolling Thunder.
Person on the side.
Jericho's? Yeah, that's his silhouette, like him doing the arms out pose.
That's silly.
Which I did not steal from Jericho. I stole
Him
the crucifix pose from
T-posing.
Raven, not from Jericho.
Has any wrestler just T-posed?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's what Jericho does.
Kind of.
Well, what is it? Define a T-pose.
I think the legs are supposed to be closer together, so it's more like a T.
Oh.
His tights remind me of the Golden Power Ranger.
Okay.
For some reason, they remind me of a Final
Soul
Fantasy
Calibur
character.
too.
The current Golden Power Ranger, I have some questions about its design. Their design.
I want to see a Power Ranger wrestler.
Okay.
There's probably been...
I was gonna say, do you want to see a wrestler with the Power Ranger situation going on, or a Power Ranger that's a wrestler?
Either one.
I think I want to see the Power Ranger more, honestly.
I'm pretty sure there's been people who've wrestled as Power Rangers before.
Probably.
I know there are people who've wrestled as Ninja Turtles. So you gotta figure the Power Ranger happened to. Not necessarily in a major company, but...
I was gonna say, have any of the bigger wrestlers ever done, like, costumes or anything like that when doing a show near Halloween?
I know they did on AEW a few years ago, because Kenny Omega came out of Sands.
Nice.
And I've seen, like, at Halloween Havoc, sometimes the announcers would be dressed up.
I've seen clips.
And I'm sure, like, on an independent show somewhere, they've maybe really gone whole hog.
Yeah. I've seen clips of Taylor Swift's older tours, specifically 1989, where she had a show near Halloween.
She was not touring in 1989. Come on, I was only 10 then.
She was literally born in 1989.
So an infant was out there touring.
Yup.
She was just
But no,
her natural
her 1989 tour, what you call it? The show near Halloween, her and her dancers
Will you
dressed
give it
up.
up? She was not touring in 1989. This
She
is just
was
internet
dressed-
bullshit. Somebody is lying to you.
She was dressed up as Olaf.
How would anybody know to dress up as Olaf in 1989? I know it's based on a Hans Christian Andersen story, but was there an actual snowman in it named Olaf? And
I was
does anyone
going to
know what
say,
they
it's
look
not
like?
100% based on it, isn't it?
I said it's based on it. That's it.
'Cause I thought Frozen was one of Disney's slightly more...
I never said it was a one-for-one
It is definitely
adaptation.
modified.
Still based
Right.
on it. Look, I was trying to give any credence to the story that you've come up with. That somehow Taylor Swift, as an infant, was touring in 1989 and was dressed up as this character Olaf that the rest of us would not be familiar with until like 2014. 14 or 13. I know it's around then.
What time of year did it come out?
Holiday time.
It may have still been 2014. Because her tour may have been 2015. Because 2014 is when the album was released. And then supposedly she was supposed to have another album in 2016. But then all the Kardashian stuff happened. So then she didn't do Reputation until 2017. And she was temporarily off her 2-year cycle with albums, kind of.
So now Christian got involved with the belt, tried to hit RVD. RVD ducked. He laid out his buddy Jericho. Then he laid out RVD for good measure, but also came out and said, "Nuh-uh. That's what you want to do. We're making a triple threat." So at the pay-per-view, it's going to be all three of them for the Intercontinental Championship. Although you got to feel like that's not really a good idea for Rob Van Dam. What?
I was going to point out the lights, but they're off the screen again. They're over there on the side.
But anyway, you got to think that booking really makes no sense for RVD because now he's got two friends against him.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to work in the story like, oh, they're going to fight each other because the belt means so much. But I think they would just take him out and then maybe fight each other. But it still seems like a bad deal for Rob Van Dam. If you want to apply logic to it. But
How much logic is used in this scenario?
I mean, there should be more logic used than often is. It would make suspension of disbelief and the enjoyment of the product that much better. We're seeing some clips of Goldberg during his big WCW run back in 1998.
Nice.
I guess they're promoting a DVD of his or something. I see Believe the Hype up in the corner.
Yeah.
So even though we pay for no commercials, we still get old commercials from WWE.
Yeah, old commercials.
That's okay, because nowadays during the premium live events, you still get commercials for stuff.
Yeah.
They're just WWE produced commercials that they insert into the show. So it's like, I mean, I'm not really paying for it above and beyond the price of the network, so I guess I'm not really going to complain, but it is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It was back when Goldberg was the U.S. champion and he beat Hulk Hogan for the World Championship. I'm sorry, Hollywood Hogan. And from there we go to the Dudley Boys.
Nice.
One of the all-time most decorated tag teams, one of the biggest tag teams of the late 90s and early 2000s.
Interesting lighting situations.
From left to right, well, there's only two on the screen, right? From left to right, you have Devon Dudley, Spike Dudley, and Bubba Ray Dudley. The main tag team is Bubba Ray and Devon, and in fact, Spike was their adversary often in ECW and maybe in the WWF as well.
Interesting.
Oof, that did not look good. He just missed everything but his head missed the table.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ouch.
Yeah, he's lucky he's still walking.
To be fair, his feet also hit the table.
Not the way it was intended, though, I'm pretty sure.
He's knocked out, though.
So, I'm sure he legitimately came away with at least some soreness, if not a real injury. I don't know if the neck brace was actually warranted or if it was just part of the storyline, but clearly not the bump they were looking to take. Or maybe they were. Maybe it was like, hey, you think you can do this? Yeah, I can do this. I don't want to put words in their mouth, and I don't recall, but I wouldn't think that was
Are you willing
intentional.
to risk serious injury?
Like I said, I would think the idea was to go through the table, and when he missed, they
Is that the
they
French
worked
flag?
with it. Yeah, this is La Resistance.
French flag, dude.
We're not on fence.
But they're
Nope.
they're French Canadians.
Like I said, we're
Still
not
not
on
on
fence.
Sylvain Grenier and I can't recall the other wrestler's name. I feel so bad.
I legitimately don't know.
It was Rob Conway that was holding the flag, and I'm not even sure if he's Canadian, much less French Canadian. He may be. Gosh, what was the other La Resistance member's name?
Then the crowd.
Hopefully one of the announcers will say it. And I'll yeah.
Fighting in the
Barbara
crowd.
fights one of them through the crowd.
You can do a lot less when fighting in the crowd.
That's fact.
Because you don't want to accidentally hurt someone.
Probably.
Yep, that's a concern if wrestlers are going to go in the crowd. It used to be wrestlers didn't go in the crowd because the crowd would hurt them. Nowadays, you don't want to go in the crowd because you don't want to accidentally hurt somebody.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good.
Not to say that
Probably
wrestlers
some
couldn't
lawsuits.
take up for themselves, but, you know, the crowd used to really believe back in the day, and the wrestlers got out there, they would, especially the heels, they would go after them. I mean, heels were stabbed and shot and all kinds of things.
Wow. Wrestling fans be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have a middle ground where you really got into the action and you were able to believe, but, you know, you still knew, okay, I can back off and it's not real once they're, you know, I don't need to get involved. I don't need to help out my favorites by stabbing somebody. But you still like to have that passion, too, for the product. Mm-hmm. So it's a tough...
That's the other day, don't stab someone.
No, I'm not suggesting somebody should or that was ever good, but I'm just saying that does show a level of involvement for the product that people just don't have nowadays. Nowadays people get upset and they just flame people on Twitter.
I thought we were moving away from that, though.
Who?
From Twitter.
I don't know. Still lots of people on that app.
That's fact.
Oh, you mean do you mean the actual name?
No, I meant the
Because I'm trying to get TAFCAT
Yeah.
trending, the app formerly known as Twitter. I hear almost nobody refer to it as X.
Yeah, same.
The closest I've seen is people
I
say
just say
X
Twitter.
/Twitter.
Yeah.
Everybody
I just
still
say
says
Twitter.
Twitter.
Of course, I see, like, brands or things like that probably have to refer to it by X, use it.
Well, I say even a lot of brands I've seen just say X/Twitter.
Yeah. But I also know Hank Green has
flag
literally
was
gone
flying.
on there to insist that he will never call it anything but Twitter.
So a week after they nearly break his neck, they go ahead and put him through a table.
Well, he still got to go through a table, I guess. Fans still got to see him go through a table. I don't know that he was hoping to go through the table.
I mean, I assume...
Oh, he won't go there.
I assume the injury from the week before was not as big as they're playing it up, but it hopefully wouldn't put him in that position.
Yeah. It was in his contract that he had to go through a table.
Backstage right now, on the left, we've got Al Snow. In the middle is Eric Bischoff, and on the right is Jonathan Coachman. Eric Bischoff was the head of WCW in the 90s when it overtook WWF to be the #1 wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
in North America, and a few years later now he's working for the WWF just as an on-screen talent. Jonathan Coachman was almost exclusively an announcer. He did have a few matches, but they were more just gimmick things. And Al Snow is a former longtime, well-regarded wrestler, also worked as an announcer. He's worked as a trainer. He's the one who was the main trainer on Tough Enough when WWF did that. He co-owned Ohio Valley Wrestling until not during its entire tenure, like when Jim Cornette and Danny Davis were running it. Al didn't own it, but eventually Al bought it from Danny Davis and owned it until just recently. That PA looked very familiar. I think she was on Tough Enough.
Okay.
I believe she was one of the female contestants on one of the seasons of Tough Enough. Not necessarily one that won, but... And I mean, Tough Enough's just like American Idol or any of those other shows. Just because you don't win doesn't mean you won't get a shot.
I would just like to
Oftentimes, winning it is not as good as just being on it. It seems like people who don't win tend to do better on reality competition shows like that.
Quite possibly. I just want to say, we were talking about Twitter and whatnot, so I decided...
Babes half naked.
So I decided to open
Look, the
it
caption
to see
said
what
Babes
was...
half naked. Oh, it's Man Moolah.
To see what was trending.
Of course, we're in Columbia. Moolah had to be on the show.
And appropriately, 1989 Tails version is trending.
Fabulous Moolah, long-time women's professional wrestler from Columbia, South Carolina. Had a training school in Columbia, South Carolina. I've heard good and bad things about her. I obviously had no experience training under her, so I can't personally comment on it. I'm sure the information's out there if you want to look it up. And Mae Young is another longtime women's wrestler and they both had a resurgence during the Attitude Era and into the days we're in now, which I would consider post-Attitude Era.
Yeah.
As recurring characters on WWF shows.
Nice.
Oh. Mae's making out with Eric.
His reaction.
It looked like Steve was leaning in for there first. Too.
It's like, oh, my turn.
Without hearing the audio, it almost looks like it.
Can I get a kiss too? Little kiss?
I gotta be honest, I was at this show live and I remember almost none of it.
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure Lita actually does make her return later on the show, coming back from a neck injury that she suffered not in the ring, but filming a television show called Dark Angel.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I remember almost nothing about this show.
Nice.
Not the most memorable wrestling show I ever attended.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with it.
What is the most memorable
But then
one you
again,
attended?
Raw and WWE...
Oh my god, GameCube game?
Yeah.
Amazing.
2003. And Stacker 2. And Castrol GTX. Motor Oil, baby.
Anything else?
These are the ads of the Y2K era.
Alright.
Kind of. It's like getting out of the Y2K era.
I was trying to say, though, WWE by and large in 2003 was not the most.
Man, that hair
thing.
looks similar to the hair of my Baldur's Gate 3 character. Not my current one.
Hair
my
looks
first
like
one.
hair.
Well, I mean the colors.
What are the odds that
The style.
the hair would look like hair? That just sounds like a compliment to Baldur's Gate. Like, well, you've got your hair looking realistic there.
Honestly, my biggest complaint is not enough long hair options. A lot of freaking video games don't like to put long hair options. It's like, I can't understand why, because, like, if you have something on the back, the hair is going to clip with the things on the back and everything, and it's like...
Yeah, I don't think it's easy to design
Lots of
/ program
clipping.
for the hair to actually go around
Like,
back objects.
Literally, Starfield, there are like 40 hairs, 28 of them don't go below the ear. And even the other 12 only go to the shoulder.
He also mentioned people who don't run the different shows tend to do better than those who actually run and whatnot. Melanie Martinez is also trending on Twitter right now.
It's not uncommon. I'm not saying none of the winners did well. Kelly Clarkson did well.
Yeah.
It's like, why are there so few hairs they even go
Carrie
to the
Underwood.
shoulders and
I
stuff?
don't know that many American Idol winners. And as far as Tough Enough, I mean, Maven had a bit of a run.
I mainly know Melanie Martinez.
But it just seems like a lot of times just getting on the show, like, I mean, Miz was on Tough Enough, he didn't win, and he's had a long time, successful career. John Morrison was on Tough Enough, he's had a pretty remarkable career.
Nice.
But I think with all the technology we have in games today, they could do some better stuff with the clipping.
Are you talking about Moolah or May?
The one with the red hair.
They could fix the clipping some.
With the sparkles and the pink.
The older lady? Or the younger wrestler?
The one who just got her hair grabbed.
The one in the one piece. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the fabulous Moolah, Lillian Ellison.
Want to,
Well, you said red hair, and Victoria has red hair there, too. It's not all red, but it's definitely red.
Yeah, no, I meant of the older women.
And just like that, it's over. Well, I mean, she's 80 years old. How long do you expect the match to go?
this is a dumb match.
You're a dumb match.
Oof.
She's got to get her heat back. Victoria's shoving the old ladies down.
Oh, she's so badass. She punches old ladies
Wait.
I mean,
after getting beaten by an old lady.
it's not necessarily badass, but it is heelish.
Definitely heel behavior.
Now one of the other girls is probably coming out. Oh, no, it's Randy Orton.
Randy
I really don't
Orton?
remember the show, do you?
I really don't. Wait, 2003. He might not even be part of Evolution yet. He might be a babyface right now.
I remember a lot of memes. I think it was Randy Orton's like one up and doing his move against random people.
With the RKO.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a while where it's like, it can come out of nowhere, and they come up with innovative ways for him to hit it.
Interesting.
It's like a couple years ago you sang that meme.
Yeah, this would have been, Randy would have just been up on the main roster maybe a year or so. He could be a heel, though. He could be fixing to, like, RKO Moolah.
Old ladies getting hurt is funny.
If he's not now, very soon he
Debatably.
would be in a group with Triple H and Batista and
he's
Ric
just
Flair.
laughed about the thought of
Evolution.
an old lady getting hurt.
Yeah, he's totally fixing to give her an RKO.
No, I was laughing about the randomness.
No, but it's very obvious.
He's very tall.
Told you.
compared to her.
I
I mean, I don't.
think he's like 6'4".
As I say, I don't know how tall she is, to be fair, but just in that shot, he looks very tall compared to her. How tall was she?
He's so small.
Fabulous Moolah?
Yeah.
Not extraordinarily tall. I'm sure she's maybe a little over 5 feet.
As
So
I
that
say,
face like,
assume
yeah,
pretty
I beat
average
up an old
height.
lady.
Good for you.
He was doing
bro.
in 2003. He was doing the Legend Killer gimmick.
I guess.
It's like
I
beating up
was too.
Did he start that? He might have started that with the angle, or that might have played into the angle with Mick that led to the match at WrestleMania with The Rock, and then the hardcore match at the pay-per-view right afterwards. Mm-hmm. I was thinking the Legend Killer thing was later on after Evolution, and once he was with Legacy, which was Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes.
I said we have already established that I was 2.5 when the show happened.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't
Technically, not even quite.
It wasn't a terrible era of wrestling, but it was not nearly as memorable as the years that had preceded it. Mm-hmm. And I was still pretty much an every week viewer, but you kind of just moved on fairly quickly, and I don't necessarily look back on it as fondly.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some more Goldberg hype. Oh, this might not even be a DVD. This might have been when Goldberg actually was making his... He didn't make his debut here. Mm-hmm. He had... He debuted like the night after WrestleMania in 2003. But this was the year he made his debut. So they're probably still building him up. And I think maybe he was getting ready for a one-on-one match with Triple H for the championship at the upcoming pay-per-view. I think they had done the Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam that he was in with the title on the line, but he didn't win it.
Uh-huh.
And so then I think maybe the one-on-one match was coming up. Or maybe I have those backwards, but I think that's what we're leading up to, is his challenge of Triple H.
Nice.
Here's a wrestler I always liked in Lance Storm, and one of the all-time great gimmicks in Goldust, at least for terms of longevity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lance is always known as a very dry personality and not very... Not that he wasn't entertaining, but he wasn't somebody who was particularly bubbly or, kooky or crazy, and so... Of course, what they do, they have him dance and do silly shit. Instead of just let him be the serious wrestler that he is. On Lance or Goldust?
That one.
That's Goldust. Dustin Runnels, the half-brother of Cody Rhodes, son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
I'm debating if it's a better fashion choice than,
It's better than some of the looks we've seen on Goldust. If y'all remember the Royal Rumble that we watched earlier this year from 1998. Now, I always enjoyed Lance's dry personality, and he was very good in the ring. Yeah, the forcible kiss, always a popular spot back then.
Questions.
as Lance finishes off
Pants
Rico.
look like a freaking...
It looks like Lisa Frank.
Yeah, not Lance,
No.
but his Rico Constantino, who had just beat.
That whole clip then just looked like some random GIF meme thing that somebody would be posting.
I mean, it probably is, or what was.
Probably.
It was so fast and jerky, too.
I could just see opening Discord and somebody sending that.
Next time the stream started.
Yeah.
So we got Rodney Mack, who I think was either the boyfriend or husband of fellow wrestler Jazz, at least at the time. And then, of course, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, being led to the ring by Theodore R. Long, who I first saw as the manager for Doom back in the 90s. And he was referee, managed other wrestlers, managed Johnny B. Bad for a while. Works as a referee for the WWF, was GM of SmackDown. Apparently here he's managing Mack and Henry. One of the classic characters for the years that I watched wrestling, though. Mark Henry, of course, works for AEW now. I have no idea what Rodney Mack is doing. Lance had a very well-regarded training school that he closed down when he joined the WWF as a backstage producer. Obviously, he worked for them at one time, but I don't think he's with them anymore. And Dustin works for AEW as well.
You know, the outfit could look a little bit better without the face stuff, I think.
You want Goldust?
Yes.
That was a big part of the character, was the face paint.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
think the face paint looks
I'm just
good.
saying, look-wise. I'm judging solely based on fashion here.
I mean, you guys are very familiar with Cody Rhodes and his current American Nightmare persona. We should go back and watch an episode of Raw or pay-per-view or something when he was in the Stardust character. When he had a full bodysuit like Dustin, and he had his face painted. He had like a star, and his colors were more like red and... I think his colors were more like red and black. Maybe he was silver. And I don't remember. 'Cause, again, I did not watch it regularly at that time, but I've definitely seen it.
Hi.
But again, imagine just another version of Goldust, but it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. The big guy is in now.
The big guy.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. We're doing great.
Yeah.
Mark Henry, the world's strongest.
Mark Henry, great.
One-time
Ooh.
world's strongest.
I know
man.
Mark Henry, kind of.
Oh, you do? What do you know?
He's big and strong.
Great, I could have told you that. I think they can
could've?
see that.
Honestly, I can't tell by looking at him.
Wow. Okay.
He's surprisingly strong for
I've
what
seen
it
a lot
looks
of people
like.
have put their signs down at this point.
Oh yeah, they're watching the show.
I mean, yeah, but they were watching the show at the beginning, too.
Well, he rolled into his foot. I guess they tagged. I didn't.
Yeah.
That was the tag.
I didn't mean
Did I
either.
see like sweat come off when I punched him?
Probably? I would
Plus-
imagine there's quite a bit of
Wow.
sweat in one of these matches.
Honestly, it's like
You know,
most time how they showed the big guys is like how the is it, oh
Yep,
God.
wow, okay.
I was about to say how
That
you
took 2
Wait, does he have
seconds.
like paint on his arm?
I don't know.
Looked like he got some
Oh, what
paint
is
on his arm
happening?
that like rubbed off. See?
It's kind of, they move too fast. Yeah, kind of looks
Yeah,
like that.
most time
looks
it-
like he has something from Gold Dust on
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Most time it's like how they display these big wrestlers. Like how are they ever supposed to go down?
Yeah.
These are don't. These are
No.
don't go down
Ooh.
until the plot demands it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess it probably came off of his face or something.
Yeah.
This is what he could do without the face stuff.
Speaking of going down,
He's in needs. Pardon?
there was an infamous moment on Raw back in like 98, 99 with Mark Henry where he got a blowjob from a I don't want to say it was a trans person, but it was somebody at least dressed up as a woman who it turned out had a penis. And after,
Yeah, that
and
doesn't-
after Mark
that-
Henry received the service, he's like, "Oh gosh, she got a penis." That sounded a little more
yeah,
Elvis than
that's,
Mark Henry, but not one of the more infamous and more regrettable moments from the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to defend everything from the Attitude Era. I'm just saying it was a very fun time to be a wrestling fan.
Definitely a sign of the 2000s.
Speaking of Maven from Tough Enough, there's Maven from Tough Enough.
Nice.
And there's Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, and that's football.
Yep.
Right
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Williams-Brice Stadium.
Alright, what's all those players?
I don't have a clue, Dylan.
If you don't know 99 for the whatever.
This is 2003.
No,
No, the number.
The number.
Oh, number 9. No, I don't remember. I don't remember any Gamecock players from 2003.
Do you remember any Gamecock players?
Yeah, but not from 2003. And I don't even know if I remember their number. I mean, Sterling Sharp played there, Harold Green played there, Steve Tannehill, Jadavian Clowney. Others.
The
Best I got right now.
Talk.
What do you want? Mike
fine.
Davis.
So I'll find out who's number 99.
You know, that information may not even be out there, honestly.
Funnily enough, I'm seeing to find information on a website called the Baseball Cube.
Have questions?
Nah, not saying much there.
Okay, hold up.
I'm looking.
See who
I don't
is...
get
Sean
that
just slapped the
99
shit
yard
out of
touchdown
Randy.
play pass.
Y'all just missed the slap because y'all's faces are buried in your phones. We're supposed to be watching the show.
looking up the Gamecocks, damn it.
You know, why don't we just do a podcast about what's on y'all's phones? That's what the next episode is going to
no.
be. What's on your phone?
Oh, no.
You're just going to go through shit on your phone, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Let me just delete 90% of my files,
Okay, then fine. We'll do an episode where we just slap each other like Sean slapped Randy.
No.
I'm not sure what year this roster is from.
I don't know either.
Hey, Shane McMahon and Kane.
I'm seeing
Nice.
multiple 99s.
What is that for?
They're going to be signing a contract for the last man standing match. I also used to be a fan of Kane until his current life as the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, where we found out that he's a Trump sucker who doesn't really care if kids get shot up in schools as long as his contributors can keep all their guns. You see the outside of the stadium. There's well, his name was Rosie at the time. Actually, I think he was superhero in training. You guys get the acronym?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. His name was, he went by the name Rosie. I apologize, I don't know his name. He's a relative of the Usos, Roman Reigns, etc. Mm-hmm. And I'm not exactly sure where he fits on the family tree. Fortunately, he's deceased now.
So I found a roster,
he
but it
he
doesn't
might
have
have been
numbers.
Roman's brother.
I found roster on Wikipedia and it has one player.
Amazing. Maddie, what position
Okay,
would
those-
99 be?
99 would be a defensive lineman.
Apparently, in
Either
2003, there was
DE
only
or
one
he'd
player.
either be he could be a nose tackle, which could be NT. He could just be defensive line, which would be DL, or he could be defensive end, which would be DE. I guess technically in college, especially, he could be a linebacker too, which could be MLB for middle linebacker, ILB for inside linebacker, OLB for outside linebacker, or just LB for linebacker.
Great, none of those are options.
Looking at the
What does it say?
2002,
There's the roster I've got.
looking at 2002, 99 is George
Oh, they don't have
Gauss.
they don't have the numbers on.
Yeah,
here.
they don't have the numbers.
In 2002, 99 was
You didn't
George
get down
Gauss.
far enough.
I didn't.
There's the
see
defensive
one.
lineman and the linebackers.
I tried.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if George Gauss was still 99 in 2003.
I don't know.
he
Is
was
on
a
that
defensive
list?
lineman. Yeah, hold on, I can click on him. No, I clicked on Daniel Weaver. I lost your thing.
Oh,
sorry.
no. What was the name, dude?
George Gauss.
Judge Gauss. Give me just a second to get back down there. There he is. Still don't see anything about numbers. But yeah, he does play a 99 position in 2003.
Really quickly, while y'all look,
Oh.
I did just double check the wrestler we saw, the superhero in training, aka Rosie. Real name Matthew Anawai. He was Roman Reigns' brother.
Nice.
All right.
I don't think he went on to play in
The NFL?
Yeah.
The national.
I definitely know my sports. This podcast proves it.
Next week we'll be watching along with a football game that I was at in 1998.
Okay.
I actually did go to a Gamecock football game in 1998. It would have been in October.
Okay.
I doubt we can get a copy of it anywhere.
You know
Unless
that
again-
one really
unless again-
absurd.
I'm not even sure
Place.
it aired on TV anywhere, but if it did, we'd have to find someone with like their old VHS copy of it.
Probably. Find somebody who just recorded the game. Somebody else who was there.
I mean, there was probably local coverage of it, but I was there, so I didn't watch it.
I'm gonna say, how much does college football go on TV?
A lot.
I don't know. I don't watch football.
Yeah, like, what's today, Saturday?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, we don't have cable, so I can't really show you, but hell, when we opened up Peacock to watch this, they were talking about a college football game, so apparently they're showing college football on the streaming services now.
Very
yeah,
nice.
Saturday is the main college football day, and there's college football on all day long on multiple networks.
Interesting.
College football's big television. Maybe not as big as it was at one time, but...
Only time I somewhat pay attention to college football is the occasional day that one of my friends tells me they're going to a local game.
Yeah, I don't watch sports much anymore. Back in the 90s, I was a huge sports fan, especially basketball.
And then I happened.
No, I mean,
that's about the time you kind of...
Basketball, football, and baseball. I loved all three sports, followed them very intently. Kept up with hockey just a little bit on the periphery. Kept up with golf a little bit, especially because I had a lot of family members who were big golfers.
But never soccer.
No, I was never a soccer fan. I mean, I might watch like some pro bowling on TV just for the heck of it.
Nice.
Was not a big Olympics fan. I watched some of the Dream Team stuff. But the steroid scandals in baseball kind of killed baseball for me. And I think losing my dad made me stop watching basketball much. And then the pandemic pretty much killed football for me.
Still have golf.
Yeah, it was always just on the
Still have
periphery.
bowling.
Golf's much more fun to play than to watch. And yeah, I never watched
We
bowling.
get into tennis. The U.S. Open is happening right now.
I have no interest in tennis.
God damn it.
I like playing tennis. Look, Shane McMahon's dressed like it's 1975 too. What the hell? Him and Christian apparently went to the same stylist.
Apparently. Very similar tops.
I mean, look at that though. He looks straight out of a disco.
But I just
I'm ready
want
for him to break into a little
point
dun,
out.
dun, 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 dun. Y'all can't see it, but I'm doing some disco moves here.
Yeah.
Disco.
Two of the sports I mentioned, golf and tennis, very similar commentary styles for them.
The low key sort of quiet.
Yeah.
Even though you're probably far away from the
Feel like
competitors and
they
not
should
going to interrupt them
have
at
the
all.
Same. It's like golf
Yeah, I've
is a much
watched some
slower
tennis.
game than
Let's
tennis.
let's take golf announcers and put them on a wrestling show, and take wrestling announcers and put them on a golf show.
So now,
By God, he nailed that 3-inch putt right in the hole. Look at him laying the smack down on that ball. He's got a...
he's
And
into
then-
the Stone Cold Stunner on Dwayne Johnson. Pretty good there.
Speaking
Might
of
be able to go for the
Dwayne,
pin soon.
he was not a full-time wrestler at this point. He would come back for WrestleMania with Mick the following March, but he's off to Hollywood at this point. And of course, Stone Cold's out of the ring. He's retired due to injuries. He's just on as an authority figure. Mm-hmm. So this is very much the post-Attitude Era in many ways. Mick's not on it anymore, although I think he would be back as in a GM role before the year was over.
Nice.
Kane's still around. Taker's, of course, still around, but even Taker he wasn't as much a part-timer then as he is now, or he's retired now, but as he was in recent years where he'd basically come back for one match a year. But he wasn't a full-time performer. He was still pretty regular, though, because, I mean, he was still in the mix through the 2010s. Mm-hmm. And into not the whole decade, but like through 2010 and like 11 and 12, and around then is when he started really cutting back. But there may be long stretches where he wasn't on the show because he's healing up injuries or whatever. So Triple H is one of the last holdouts from the real Attitude Era peak. Of course, Shawn's back
At
now.
the table.
Well, I mean, it got in a wrestling ring. What did it expect?
True.
If you're a table and you get in a wrestling ring, you got to take what you get.
To be fair, I'm not sure the table had much choice about being in the wrestling
That
ring.
table had a choice. Come on. Let's be real.
The way he just jumped at him.
What do y'all think about the red carpet they put over the ring for this signing?
It's
I mean, I guess it's for
Something.
Kane, but it's kind of bizarre.
I assumed it was just supposed to be like a
Is he
formal
so
carpet.
really punching him in the dick?
Well, what would you do if you had to fight a man that big?
I mean, fair point.
One away.
No, I said you had to fight them for some reason. Now in need of the balls, too. To be fair, I do think at one time Kane kidnapped Shane and used, like, jumper cables on his nuts.
What the fuck is
So-
going on in the plot line of wrestling?
Oh, no, that wasn't on the show. No. That was just, he just got pissed off at him. Felt like that was a fair way to settle things. And this is for your old man ripping me off on a payoff.
He's got the chair.
Just keep hitting him. Don't let him get up.
Of course, I make that reference
Dumbass.
because Shane McMahon's dad is Vince McMahon, who was the owner of the World Wrestling Federation, just in
Yes.
case anybody didn't realize that.
Somehow.
In case you're not a wrestling fan or the last name wasn't enough to clue you in. Oh my God, he's dusting off the Spanish announce table. They literally don't have a Spanish announce team out there. They had it covered with a tarp, but it's still there just in case somebody wanted to go through it.
Duh.
Got the Spanish announce table.
It is a little... I don't even think... I think the announcers were set up at the end of the ramp at this point. I don't think the announcers were at ringside. It's possible that they were taping another show at this time, like Sunday Night Heat or Velocity or whatever their syndicated shows were, because they would often tape those at the live TV tapings.
Yeah.
So it's possible that's why that desk is there.
No, it doesn't seem like.
But it's serving the role the Spanish announce table often serves.
Very fun to wrestle in jeans.
Could you imagine someone going to climb up to the
That
top
doesn't
rope and
seem
then
like
just
a
slipping and
appropriate
falling off the
It
ring?
wasn't super uncommon if you had like a street fight,
Uh-huh.
which is what we used to call hardcore matches. And like when Shawn came back at SummerSlam the year before this, and he had his street fight with Triple H, he wrestled in jeans.
Interesting. Hi, Mikey.
Is there any moment of someone's
And to be fair,
slipping
John
off?
Cena wears jean shorts all the time.
Is there any moment of someone just slipping off the top rope and falling by accident?
I'm sure. I can't think of one specific famous example, but yeah, mistakes happen.
Why is
That sounds
that
really
wet?
funny.
Look,
Yeah, that's why the
I don't
cat's
want to know why your pussy's wet. I have nothing to do with it.
She was probably drinking water.
She's telling you why she's wet.
I don't speak cat.
Didn't even need that collar
Jason.
from Fiona and Cake.
Yeah.
Fiona and Cake's been interesting so far. We've
has
seen
been.
4 episodes,
Very.
Yeah.
which is
out of,
almost
like,
half
10.
of the run at this point.
Yeah. At least to start with, very bee and puppy cat vibes.
I'm not a huge fan of the multiverse concept,
Uh-huh.
but it's kind of cool that Prismo created it and he hit it in Ice King's head, and that's why Ice King wrote the fan fiction. I can live with it. I still think it would have been cool if Fiona and Cake were actually from Ice King's time and somehow they time traveled through a portal and he actually maybe knew them, and that's why subconsciously he included them as his
Yeah.
gender swap versions of Finn and Jake. But, I mean, this is okay.
Apparently, the beam where Prismo beams into Ice Beam's head is actually in
Ice
the show.
Beam?
Ice Beam? Ice King's head is actually in the show.
You
just
get
don't know-
Ice
You
Beam!
just don't know it's Prismo. But you do
Interesting.
I've heard. At least.
Well, I guess
I
we
didn't
need to
go
go
back
back
and
and watch
rewatch
Raw.
Jack.
Not Raw. Watching Raw is not going to help. We need to go back and watch it.
Finn and
picture
Jake
time.
in War! I'd love to see more adult Finn and
shit.
Jake.
Well, Jake's dead. Yeah,
Well, we saw a clip of adult Finn
how far
and
in
Jake.
how far in the future is Fiona and Cake set?
Quite a decent bit.
Because I mean,
Relatively
supposedly when Ice King lost the crown and stopped being Ice King, that's when the magic in Fiona's world died, and she went to just her normal existence. So she's been existing that way for a while. Because
Yeah.
Finn's grown quite a bit, and Jake's already passed away.
Yeah. I saw one of his kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen them before though.
Yeah. And the other series. they
Guys,
did
do you
on
believe the
Max.
hype?
Eh.
Oh look, apparently it's WWE 2023. There's Trish Stratus.
Lol.
We literally just saw her open up a pay-per-view. Or, I'm sorry, premium live event.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun, though. I didn't even think about the fact that she may be wrestling on this show. Because she retired in, like, 2006-ish, I think.
Interesting. Well, this is still 3 years before that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 5 then.
That may even be early. It may have been a few years after that.
According to this, Fiona and Cake is set 12 years after the series finale. That's it. Wow.
That doesn't make sense, but okay.
Wow, Jake died within 12 years of the series finale. Do we even know how he died?
No. It's left. Up to interpretation. I mean, if I had to guess, he just got old.
Really? Was he
That's
that
what I'd
old
like to go with.
I mean, he's.
I don't know how
That's
old
my
he
question.
was.
Is, I mean, how old were they at the series finale?
Finn was 17.
Oh my!
So the
my
Finn we
God.
see with that beard is only 29?
He started at the
I
series
don't
at
think
12.
he ages normal.
Okay, so coming in the ring now, we have Molly Holly on the left, Hall of Famer, and on the right is, no, strike that, reverse that. Molly Holly was on the right. On the left is Gail Kim, who is the wife of Robert Irvine from Restaurant Impossible.
Nice.
He met her on an episode of his previous series, Dinner Impossible, when they did the crossover with the WWF, and she was one of the WWF wrestlers who came on to assist him, and that's where they met.
That's cute.
And to the best of my knowledge, they're still together. I don't keep up with my celebrity pro wrestler chef couples.
How many are there?
At least one.
Just the one though
I
that
said
you know
it, I
of?
said it, just the one that I know of, yes.
Did you ever keep up with these?
Although I think Dennis Knight was a pro wrestler, and he became a chef.
Sounds like you did keep up with these.
So does that count? I don't know that he's married, though, so...
According to this, Jake was 28 in dog years, but about 16, 17 in actual years by the end. Well, he was 20 in dog years at the beginning of the show, at least.
But he's not a normal dog, is he?
Yeah, he's technically like part dog, part alien.
So we don't know how long-lived his race is.
Yeah.
Or his species.
But his biological age, according to this, was within his 40s, is the highest I see on the Wikipedia. Or the wiki.
So he still feels like he died fairly young.
Yeah.
Not that people don't die younger.
I mean, I would like to
we don't know how long those
he died of
aliens
old
lived.
age, but... Yeah.
There seems to be a handicap match.
What happened to
Which
the
is-
unicorn?
Hmm?
So what happened to the unicorn?
Lady Rainicorn?
Yeah. Is she gone too, or do they just not talk about her?
I mean, to be fair, we didn't see her all that much.
We haven't seen much of the characters so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of Finn.
Yeah.
I saw a brief flashback of Finn and Jake.
Do you think we're gonna see more?
I don't think we're going to see a lot.
I want to see
Especially
more.
since they've just gone into some other dimension or universe or
Yeah.
world.
I want to see more flashbacks.
I don't know how
of
much
Finn
they're
and
going to
Jake.
come back to Ooh.
True.
True Ooh.
I mean,
True.
Has made me want to watch the new Bee and Puppy Cat, though.
I can kind of see current Finn being around 30.
We need Netflix so we can watch it.
No, you're right. He just, felt a little older.
I agree.
Yeah.
Still younger than me, though.
Guess he had some rough aging.
Aging wasn't kind to him.
Well, I mean, some of that just seems to be a choice, and that he grew out the beard, and I mean,
Probably.
he was already missing the arms, so that was always going to make him look a little rougher.
Probably. We have three drastically different styles going on right now.
I think it's weird that it's a handicap match, though. You don't often see that with wrestlers who were similar in stature. Like somebody like Andre the Giant would take on multiple wrestlers, but that made sense because of his huge size advantage. Mm-hmm. Or even somebody like Mark Henry might participate in a handicap match, but to have three pretty much evenly matched wrestlers 2-on-1 is a little bit more bizarre. Except in a case where somebody had like a partner and their partner got injured, and they're like, I'm going to go it alone, and that didn't seem to be the case here.
Do you think Simon will become the Ice King again by the end? I hope not.
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know, and I think it also depends on whether it's just these 10 episodes or this is just the first season of an ongoing series.
It really feels like he shouldn't.
I
feels
could
like
see
that'd
it
be a big
happening at
character
least
progression.
temporarily.
But at one point, it almost seemed like they were setting up, like, that's when he was really happy, so shame on them for taking it away from him. But that could just be the ignorance of the person making that comment, because they just saw a clip of him.
Yeah. Okay, whose outfit do you like the best? Most?
I mean, they're all fine. Are you
Why
asking
we
which one I
start
would like
talking
to
about
wear the
Adventure Time
most?
again?
Or
No, just which
How did this
outfit do you like the
conversation get to
most?
Adventure Time?
Trisha's probably my least favorite. I'm not, even though I do like darker colors, I don't like the color scheme.
Uh-huh. I don't
Gail-
like that pink top.
Gail's looks really good on her. Molly's would be my second favorite. Although Molly looks like she's just wearing like a mom outfit or something, like a club outfit. She doesn't look like she's in wrestling gear, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
True.
I'm not sure whose outfit I really like.
Gail and Trish, it looks like they're actually wearing wrestling gear. And I don't know, just something, the colors on Trish, it's not.
Yeah, I don't love
I don't like the silver with the silvery blue or whatever
black
that
or
is.
whatever, yeah. That's the part that I don't really like, is like the silver
Maybe if it was
top of the blue black.
a harder black
Yeah.
to contrast with the silver.
But I don't like that pink top.
Gail's is just much more uniform, just orange with some black trim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Molly's top doesn't quite match with the color on the side of her tights.
Yeah. She's got like a bit of a
Which is
sparkly bit on that
it's
sleeve
weird
situation.
that pattern goes up only to just above her knee. I feel like it should either go all the way up or be maybe smaller even.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that looks very red compared to the pink top.
Who's the woman in the white?
That's Lillian Garcia, the ring announcer,
Nice.
who I believe is also from Columbia, South Carolina, or at least has a connection to the city.
She's had the best outfit of the women I've seen tonight.
Oh, this looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought she was going to put it on her tits. I'm not going to lie. Wait, she does have it on her tits.
She did. And then she moved it.
Wait.
And somebody else is out.
There's Leader's Return.
Nice.
And she's wearing the shirt that I bought you that night.
Nice.
Not the same one. Although I'm pretty sure she is going to throw that one into the crowd. I don't think I was low enough to catch it.
That's okay.
And like I said, this would have been her return, I believe, from her neck injury that she suffered while filming James Cameron's Dark Angel series, which is what gave Jessica Alba her start.
Interesting.
For her first big break. Yep, there goes the shirt. Oh, she didn't throw it in the crowd. She just threw it on Gail. What did you think of Leah's outfit?
It was, I don't know, it was probably better than the other three people actually in the ring right now.
Honestly, not that much like wrestling gear, but it is what she wrestled in, so for her it was wrestling gear.
Mike.
Kind of still a grunge look.
Yeah.
Or that late 90s appropriation of it. Approximation of it.
It's like the darker Y2K stuff.
Yeah, like, that was a pretty big deal, because I don't think Lita had been around for a good 9 months or so. Hell, Lita was on WWE television last year at the latest.
Nice.
Or at most, she might have been on it earlier this year. Yeah, she was at WrestleMania this year.
Nice.
She and Becky were tag team champions, so there's just another connection between this show and 2023. So see, it was a good time to watch it.
20 years later.
Mikey, you are purring quite loudly.
Yes, she is. She's a happy cat. Ow! She bit me!
This is great television. It's not television, it's a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's shitty television. Nobody can see it. Not what we're watching. This is just average television. Or maybe above average television. Average wrestling television.
Now they're in the back with ice packs.
I wonder... Never mind. I was going to make a joke about Robert Irvine and keeping food on ice or something, but I don't even know if they'd met at this point.
It almost looks like Mikey's considering to sit with you.
I thought she was thinking about jumping on the mic stand.
She might be considering that,
which
too.
would not be good.
I don't know what goes through this cat's head.
I don't want to suddenly lose audio in the middle of the show, because we're watching along here. Hey, speaking of, I promised some time cues, and I have not been giving any.
We've said a bunch of things.
So if you're watching along with us, we're at 101:44, 45. So hopefully that would help you along there.
Alright.
I'll try to throw in another one in just a minute here, although I feel like it's a little late because we got like 20 minutes left of the show. I'm sorry, I get distracted talking about Adventure Time and Fiona and Cake. Hey.
He looks like the artist who did Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay. Butch Harmon?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, JR and King are still, they are set up back by the ramp was set up at ringside, so that desk was probably for one of the syndicated shows. I wasn't sure if Jim Ross was the commentator during this time or if it was Michael Cole. I figured Lawler was there because I saw somebody made a joke when Moon and May came to the ring that one of them took their driving test on a dinosaur. And that sounded like a King line.
Nice. I could not tell you who the announcers are based off of what they're saying.
Music. Why is Al Snow wearing a crown?
Because why not?
I'm sure there was some reason for it. I think at this time Al and Jonathan Coachman were the commentators on Sunday Night Heat.
Mm-hmm. It looks like an unbranded Burger King crown.
Yeah, and apparently on the upcoming pay-per-view, it's going to be Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler against these two.
Interesting.
So you have 2 wrestlers and 2 announcers. Yeah.
Burger King.
It's gonna take the stuff from the smash table. Yeah, it looks like they just spray painted the Burger King crown solidly, which call it gold, and then glued on a couple gems at the top.
A background.
Couldn't afford to go to Dollar Tree for a cheap plastic crown.
I guess he's okay. I understand the crown now. They're mocking Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. That's why Cushman has the hat on. I'm sorry I didn't pick up on that. Never been a big fan of announcer fights.
I'm sorry.
On wrestling shows, it doesn't seem to serve much purpose.
Just a little
announcer fights
another
just be a
layer of
debate.
Entertainment.
Even that, I want to see
Fill out
wrestling.
the shows.
This will be like a Phoenix White thing.
Oh God.
It's like, oh, Jackson, your face sucks.
Those lights look really cool in the purple.
And here comes Sean Morley, once again in his porn star gimmick as Val Venus.
Definitely an interesting gimmick.
Hello, ladies.
I honestly don't like the gimmick.
I heard some kind of douchebaggy comments from him about a trans female wrestler. Nyla Rose, I believe, who wrestled or does wrestle for AEW.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
nice that you heard it. Nice that they wrestled.
I didn't think it was nice. I would have been just.
Yeah,
happy
no,
to
the
have not
comments
heard it.
would not have been nice.
But otherwise, I don't know that much about him. I know Edge was married to his sister for a while. No longer married to his sister.
Interesting.
And yeah, he has the porn star gimmick. This started back in 1998. I want to say. And then he was with the Right to Censor when they were doing the parody of the Parents Television Council. Mm-hmm. And there's Stacy Keibler, former girlfriend of David Flair and George Clooney, among others. Newly elected Hall of Famer. She went in the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania this year. And with her is Andrew Martin, a.k.a. Test, who is another one of the wrestling brethren who sadly passed away since this time.
I like how she's just, like, not having it with him.
They were a couple in real life, probably at this time.
With him being called Test, it reminds me of Johnny Test.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the greatest name. But it's what they saddled him with.
Alright, Johnny Test versus a porn star.
Now he's mocking her entrance into the ring. So I guess they're doing the couple on the rocks gimmick. I guess he's being too controlling or demanding.
That's the vibe.
Jealous of her celebrity over his, perhaps. Not uncommon, but not necessarily welcome either.
Because I don't like anything going on in the ring now.
I'm sorry.
They should have had some interesting choices.
They have very similar trunks. They look like they're a tag team.
Yeah.
And the tag team is broken up as Test attacks.
Let's see, I don't like either of them.
Behind.
They have similar styles. They could easily be on the same side.
Okay, but Test is dead now, so have a little bit of respect for him.
Okay, but this 2003 version of him.
Okay, but to be fair, it's not necessarily his choice to do this gimmick. I mean, if that's that's his job and he needs to make a living.
I'm not hating the person. I'm hating the character.
And if that's understandable, and that was probably the intent, I'm sure.
Exactly.
I'm sure he was either a heel or turning heel at this point. So, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the best way to do it either. I'm not defending the gimmick. I'm just pointing out that it's not necessarily a reflection of Andrew Martin personally.
Yeah.
I mean, Val Venus wasn't really a porn star either. Spoilers.
He wasn't?
No, he wasn't. I thought I said that already. And referee in the ring is Charles Robinson, a.k.a. Little Nate. Huge Ric Flair fan.
Nice.
We saw him on Most Wanted Treasures a couple years ago when they did the Ric Flair robe episode.
Mm-hmm. Interesting shot behind those people, whose names I've already forgotten. I apologize.
Oh, it's Al Snow with the robe on and Jonathan Coachman with the hat.
Okay. I'll remember that for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm watching the clock now.
Okay.
In 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you.
Oh, great.
I've already forgot.
Ooh, see, he
What the hell is
slipped.
being said?
I mean, I think that was on purpose, but...
Somebody was saying something about...
I'm not actually sure if your question earlier was if somebody slipped on accident or on purpose, but...
On accident.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But obviously they do it in the course of a match as well. Pump handle slam. And Stacy interferes. Stacy's actually in a shot in the film... Oh, God, what's the name of the movie now? It's a John Waters movie. I think she's from Baltimore, where John Waters set a lot of his movies. And I guess maybe shot him there.
Uh-huh.
And there's Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, coming out.
And he has a chainmail thing on.
But what's the name of the movie? They did a remake of it with John Travolta. Oh my God, what is the name of the movie?
I don't know.
Well, early on in the movie, she's in a shot. She's like on a bus. And one day I was watching the movie like, oh my God, that's Stacy Keibler.
Uh-huh.
The strategic moving of the camera there.
Yeah. That was,
Choices of the attitude.
Fan
Oh,
service.
the upskirt shot? Yeah, that's very common in wrestling.
At least at this time.
It's very common
Not
in
anymore,
wrestling.
I don't think.
They're common with skirts in wrestling nowadays.
Debatably. But to be fair, like I pointed out, I don't consider this Attitude Era. This is post-Attitude Era.
I'd say this is the ending of the Attitude Era at best.
I mean, for me, the Attitude Era ended in 2001.
There's still
when I came around.
There's still these remnants
Alex
of the
killed
Attitude
the Attitude
Era.
Era.
Yup.
There's still these remnants of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Lingo.
Some of them just tried
moving
this
into
hanging
some other
around.
stuff.
Hairspray, that's the name of the movie.
Ah.
I think that's I know it's a John Waters movie. Although 1988, how old is Stacy Keibler? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Now I'm gonna look that up. I know she's in a John. Maybe
Go and do a match to their trunks.
she has red and black panties.
Yes.
So see,
I'm glad you're paying attention.
They should have been. They should have been.
The skirt came all the way up.
Look, man, if there's panties on screen, you're gonna look.
Analyze the underwear.
If you're paying attention to the screen, you would have seen them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking up to see if Stacy Keibler got any credit for being in the movie. Because I know she's like sitting on a bus. It's not even like a role, so it's not something that would necessarily even be credited. But I was also looking up her age.
You can see them there too.
She's the same age I am.
They highlighted when she was on the boat.
So she probably would not have been on a bus in a movie in 1988, because, I mean, she was grown enough for me to recognize her. So maybe it was the remake of it.
Okay.
Because I think John Waters appeared in the remake, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I felt like a long, boring story to nowhere. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, it hasn't even been 10 minutes. What are their names?
Al Snow, and I don't remember the other one.
God damn it.
Something.
In less than 3 minutes, you forgot Jonathan Coachman. I mean, I'm sure a lot of
Great.
people have done that, but, and others wish they could.
I forgot in about 5 seconds.
No, I'm just kidding. Coach is okay.
I'm just saying that guy back there, either he looks like a lot of other people, or he looks like somebody we've seen in the crowd before. Or in other shows.
Honestly, no offense.
Probably the former.
No offense. Haven't been a lot of interesting matches on this show.
I mean, honestly, a couple of the guys in the crowd kind of look like your boyfriend.
I don't even have a boyfriend, so I have questions.
But I'm pretty sure he was way too young to be at this show.
I'd be disappointed if I paid for this wall.
He went to it live.
No, a lot of the TV shows I went to were not great. Honestly, none of them were particularly
You chose the
good.
worst shows to go to, apparently.
They're the ones that were in my area. I'm sorry. I couldn't
There are
choose
no
which ones
good
they
shows
bought.
in the area, apparently.
The TNA house show we went to was good. I've enjoyed most of the house shows I've been to. Probably
I
more so
remember
than the TV
Jonathan
shows.
Coachman's name more than I remembered the shows I've seen live.
Yeah, but to be fair,
I was a kid for most of them.
even 2010, you would have been, what, 9?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
I mean, we went to one in
that.
2019, but yeah, even that I don't entirely remember.
This footage looks horrible.
Yeah, this is the this would be the Elimination Chamber. So I guess they had the Elimination Chamber at SummerSlam, and everybody thought Goldberg was going to win, but he didn't.
Not
Triple H
2018.
Triple H came out of it with the belt, and then I guess we're leading up to the match. Yeah, I think that was the main event on the show. Is this Triple H's going away party for Goldberg? So
That's
I think
such a PNG.
I think we got like a 20-minute.
Not even a
I think we got like a
PNG.
20-minute promo segment basically to close out the show. I guess Al and King had a little tete-a-tete, so now it's Jim Ross and Jonathan Coachman together.
His use of the
buds.
headphones are annoying me.
Oh, they're actually having a match currently. There we go. Earl
That's
Hebner in
an
the ring, the referee who was introduced in the WWF in the infamous twin referee gimmick in which Andre the Giant won the World Wrestling Federation Championship from Hulk Hogan in February of 1988 before selling it to Ted DiBiase, and also the referee who was in the ring during the Montreal Screwjob who essentially screwed Brett.
Now,
A match which
that
we
outfit
watched.
reminds me even more of the Gold Power Ranger.
Oh, God.
Al Snow's, of course, right? The jeans.
Yes,
Yeah,
that-
Al's wrestling in jeans and tennis shoes. That's just horrible.
Those shoes are interesting.
Al's are
How
are
southern
kings.
is he?
Who?
The guy in jeans.
Not at all. He's from Ohio.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. If it's not southern, it's Ohio.
Jerry,
Toys, Ohio.
I don't know if Jerry's from Memphis. I'm sure he lives there now, and that's where he made his fame. I know he's a big fan of the Cleveland Browns, so he might be from Ohio, but he might just be a fan of the team, too.
Yeah.
As far as where he's originally from, he's obviously best known as being associated with Memphis.
Has Goblin shown you the Gold Ranger's new outfit yet?
I'm not sure if I've shown many of the Power Rangers new outfits.
Yeah, the King's looks not great there.
But even worse is the freaking the beige Power Ranger.
We don't talk about the beige Power Ranger.
They don't really have a beige Ranger, do they?
Oh, you won't.
I'm pulling up the image.
Do they have a plaid Ranger too? A taupe Ranger?
I'm trying to pull it up. It's not good. Where? Oh God, what do I need to search to find it?
I was always a fan of Al Snow's. I thought he was entertaining in the ring and on the mic. I liked him on Tough Enough. And his book's really good, too. I highly recommend picking that up if you're a wrestling fan. I apologize I don't recall the name of it right offhand, but...
Dude, what do I need to search to find it?
There's only
Cosmic
one Al Snow
Fury.
biography.
Cosmic
so.
Fury.
Yeah.
Or one Al Snow OSMIC biography? What the hell? Y'all said Cosmic, and autobiography became OSMIC for me.
Nice.
Awesome.
It's OSMIC.
Yeah, here you go.
King with the roll-up.
Red has become beige, pink has become, red, and that's the gold one right there.
That is something.
Yeah.
It's also the first time Power Rangers are using their own original suits.
That's interesting.
These aren't Super Sentai
No
suits.
more. Does Super Sentai even exist anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, you say that like it has to.
The most
Everything comes
recent
to
one
an end
actually looks quite
eventually.
cool. It's called like King Ogre. And I hope the...
Look at that bastard coach laying out JR. That's good old JR.
The other
I don't know the
Rangers
plot
kept
right
their
now.
colors too, didn't they? Blue, green, and black. Why did they switch?
Blue, green, and black.
I just want to say, I'm totally okay.
Super Sentai.
I'm totally okay with
that looks
a
pretty cool.
female
Yeah, I
Red
want them to
Ranger,
adapt
but I don't like this. Ow.
But I'm worried that they're not going to adapt it now with them trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
It'd also be
Netflix-
cool if they use the Lupin
Did
Ranger
Netflix
outfits,
a-
but they're never going to use
That
the
just
Lupin
doesn't
Ranger.
feel right if they're not adapting Super Sentai. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the lifeblood of the series.
I mean, the Megazord scenes will still be from Super Sentai. I think they're contractually obligated to do that.
Did Netflix actually get the full rights, like they took over, or are they just taking over distribution?
I think these have distribution. Hasbro owns it.
Well, yeah.
Now King has to commentate the rest of the show in his suede wrestling gear. That just looks bizarre.
There's a,
Yeah.
With the nipple out.
Yeah.
Is it Q Ranger? Is that the one?
Q Ranger! Q Ranger!
Yeah, Q Ranger. I really like the suits from that one as well. That's the one that Cosmic Fury is technically based off of.
Yeah, those look alright.
But they're not using the suits from it.
I'm questioning the black one. What is going on up here?
There's some sort of a painting or picture wrapped up on an easel in the ring.
Interesting.
And at least
Or
some
maybe
of
not
this.
an easel, but like a display stand, as we're seeing a clip now from when Disco Shane took on the mayor of Knox County.
Interesting.
At least some of the suits seem to be partially based off zodiac signs. Like
Yeah.
there's a scorpion, lion, bull.
I was gonna say, black was Terse, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the freaking what is it called? The Libra thing.
The scales?
The scales.
I thought one of them had like a bull look to him, but I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, the black one, that's Terse. The bull.
Yeah.
Lion,
And the purple one
Leo,
also looks cool, like-
Scorpion.
Look at that purple
Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem with it is there were like 11 rangers, so like that would never
They're
work.
only 11?
Maybe more. Too many.
Judging. I want to know what the things are for pink and purple.
An Unforgiven Shane takes on Kane in a Soul Calibur 2 match. They're just gonna play video games against each other.
There are also
Gobble
two
and
red
watch.
rangers.
That had to be confusing.
Yeah, according to this, Hasbro is producing Cosmic Fury, and it's the third Power Rangers thing they've actually produced.
Yeah, it is actually 12 rangers. But yeah, no way could they work with 12 characters.
I mean, they could if they wanted to.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, it's gonna be...
If they could get the budget.
It's gonna be a real hard time to give each one of those characters an equal amount of development and screen time and everything.
Well, I mean...
I heard it was already a problem within Q Ranger.
I never could remember what
They-
the other member of La
they did
Resistance was called. We just saw them on the screen as we're previewing the pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure I got Unforgiven 2003.
That was one of the problems with Q Rangers, that there were so many characters.
Because if I'm not mistaken, that's when Goldberg actually won the championship. And I'm pretty sure I saw that show.
And this image seems to show potentially even more.
According to this, Cosmic Fury is getting 10 episodes.
That's it?
According to the wiki.
That's the same amount as Cake and Fiona.
I feel like it's becoming more common
Or Fiona and Cake.
For series to only get like 10-ish episodes.
Crap, does that mean I saw that Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler versus Coach and Al Snow match? I think I did. Well, no wonder I blocked that out.
Amounts.
But yeah, I like the Lupin Ranger outfits, but Lupin Ranger versus Patrol Ranger is never getting adapted.
God, it seems like there were a lot of matches on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, according to this, Cosmic Fury commemorates the franchise's 30th anniversary and picks up directly following the end of Dino Fury.
Yeah. It's kind of doing like what they've been doing in more recent seasons. Where
This is the last one to be filmed in New Zealand, according to this.
I didn't know it was filmed in New Zealand.
Apparently it is. Oh, you got picked up by someone else, Mikey.
But
I have the little baby kitty cat. Alright, so we have Triple H, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair. I don't think they're officially Evolution yet at this point. Because Batista's not there.
Yeah, more recently they've been doing kind of 2 seasons. It's been mainly
wet still.
It's been
She
mainly
may
like
have gone and gotten in the bathroom.
Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel or Samurai.
She likes to drink water out of the tub.
But this time it's Dino Fury, then Cosmic Fury. But I hope they adapt more Super Sentai. It's like, I want the King Ogre one. Of course, that would be coming in later years, since that's the most modern Super Sentai.
So Steve's just made it that if Ric Flair interferes in Triple H's match with Goldberg at the pay-per-view coming up, then Triple H will lose the championship. And of course, normally you don't lose the championship on a disqualification.
Interesting.
And apparently they're doing this goodbye party ceremony because the stipulation is if Goldberg doesn't beat Triple H, he'll leave the WWF or the WWE. And they probably did that because everybody was so pissed off after SummerSlam that Goldberg didn't win. They're like, no, he's definitely going to win. See, if he loses, he's going to leave. So he's definitely going to win. So buy the pay-per-view. Buy it, damn it. Buy the pay-per-view.
But yeah, the one before King Ogre is Dawn Brothers or whatever is a very
I feel like we had a conversation about King Ogre on another wrestling pay-per-view.
That's possible.
Or a wrestling podcast.
But it was a very
Oh my god, Keith loves Jenny.
Okay.
That sign in the crowd told me.
Amazing.
So that one probably won't get adapted. And the one before was a 45th anniversary for Super Sentai.
Right now, we're missing some of the best
not gonna get
wrestling entrance
adapted.
music of all time, in my estimation. Definitely top 5. I love the Motorhead Time to Play the Game entrance for Triple H. Great entrance music. What entrance music do you guys like?
I'm not sure.
The most recent one I could see getting adapted.
He doesn't even want to answer the question.
Other than King
I'll be leaving
Ogre
now.
would be Kira Manger.
Uh-huh.
They have like glittery
You
suits.
chased Maddie off.
See, they're all glittery.
Interesting. I'll take a glittery pink.
And they seem to have
Thank you.
road straps.
Yeah.
I assume it's another vehicle-based one. They like to do that a lot. Vehicles and dinosaurs. That's what sells for Power Rangers.
Yeah. According to this, the third season was greenlit all the way back in May 2021. And originally it was just supposed to be a third season of Dino Fury. But then in June of last year, the title was leaked. And people actually thought that it was just a placeholder thing. But apparently also in 2021, when the series was greenlit, the cast was already signed on to keep doing it.
And then the one before the one I just showed you is the Dino Fury one. Then the one before Dino Fury was Lupin Ranger.
Dylan, it's your favorite wrestler.
Nice.
Yep.
But what does he like more, Triple H or Power Rangers?
But as I said, Lupin Ranger is not getting adapted.
So yeah, this is what we got for a main event on this Raw, was just Triple H's goodbye celebration for Goldberg.
Interesting.
It seems like a lot of the television shows I went to didn't really have proper main events. I don't recall what the main event on the Thanksgiving SmackDown was from the year before this, and I don't recall what the main event was on the Thunder, even though we just watched that for the podcast earlier this year. I do know the 2 Nitros I went to, one of them had a Falls Count Anywhere match between Bret Hart and Sting, which is really cool, except they never came out into the ring, and we had to watch the whole thing on a monitor backstage, so that was kind of lame.
Interesting.
I don't think the other Nitro I went to had a No, I think the other one had, maybe it was Luger versus Savage in the main event. So, I mean, that's at least a legitimate main event. Can't really complain too much about that. Luger was one of my favorite wrestlers at the time, and, Randy Savage is Randy Savage. So even if it wasn't a great match, it was definitely something. Mm-hmm. Did I only go to one Raw? May have only been to one Raw.
Interesting.
I think maybe the main event for the SmackDown we all went to was Batista and Ray against somebody because they were teaming up, but it doesn't really stand out. Oh yeah, I've been to more than one Raw.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because we went to Raw in 2018.
Yeah, I figured you were referring to everything prior
Why didn't you pipe up about that?
Because like I just said, I figured you were referring to the older stuff.
I don't remember if there was a main event on that show or not. I remember we had a dark match main event where it was like Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman and somebody else and maybe somebody. It might have even been like an 8-man, but that wasn't for the television show.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think I've only been to. I think that's only 2 Raws for me.
But I literally mentioned that Raw earlier too.
Yeah, well, all the Power Rangers talk and everything else. Sometimes I have to tune you all out.
I was gonna question how they're gonna do a Megazord in Cosmic Fury.
Dude! Missing the balloon.
Okay, but apparently
He doesn't give a shit.
the Megazord for Cosmic Fury,
This
the
is
main
not the
one,
Power Rangers podcast.
is only
bro.
about 5 different colors, and also it looks really dope.
Whenever you want to start a Power Rangers podcast,
Rangers.
talk to me. But you didn't say that before this episode.
I don't like the big orbs.
I love it.
Thank you.
No, my Power Rangers.
Aw.
Oh, now they've got confetti.
I think the one before Q Ranger though was based on animals. Those also, there's a lot of those. So that one could be adapted. That one, the glittery one, and like King Ogre.
Speaking of glitter, there's some glitter falling from the ceiling.
Within the next
Confetti.
couple years.
More confetti, but it's sparkly confetti.
Metallic confetti.
Look, I'm trying to get back on topic here.
And what's that?
Okay,
throw
then
me
I
a
won't
bone.
mention the O's tour confetti.
Here's light pink shirt.
Salmon.
You already referenced that earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in his Vegeta era.
He's a hit of balloon.
Okay.
Just casually.
What else was he supposed to do?
Oh, let him.
Stick it in his shirt so he had like fake boobs.
That doesn't feel like a Triple H sort of thing to do.
It feels exactly like a Triple H sort of thing to do.
He's part of freaking D-Generation X.
Okay, maybe in specific.
It's like that's exactly what they would do.
But to be fair, right now he's more like the serious Harley Race type heel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say this
sort of
doesn't give
sarcastic
those vibes.
DX heel.
But that's exactly what DX would do.
Maybe during their revival in like 2005. Yeah, maybe even in '98 too.
He's still hitting the balloons.
I think the fans are throwing them into the ring.
Yeah, probably.
Triple H, keep the balloon up! He gets distracted, starts doing that instead of talking.
It's not uncommon for a bored wrestling crowd to like try to pass a beach ball around. I think they've banned beach balls at a lot of stadiums
Interesting.
and arenas because of that.
Why not? I'll bring a bowling ball instead.
I don't think that's allowed,
Yeah, that's
dude.
probably not good. They don't want you to have bottles with caps on them. They're not going to let you have a bowling ball.
Can't have balls of cap. Dang it, I gotta bring my ketchup without a cap.
The Raw that we went to, if you bought a soda in a bottle, they kept the cap.
Interesting.
Because I guess they're afraid people are going to throw it at other people or try to throw it in the ring.
Possibly.
I can still throw it in the ring. It's gonna make a lot more of a mess.
That's technically true.
It's gonna get like half the audience, but it was not half the
Okay,
audience.
fuck it. I'm scanning the crowd.
Okay.
A giant portion of the audience who have a soda.
I mean, I could be amongst those folks.
Could be. This is why you take signs, damn it.
I don't, like I said, I don't even remember what side of the ring we were sitting on now, 20 years later. I think this was the show. I think when we had been to SmackDown the previous year, I noticed that there was like a Subway cart for concessions. Mm-hmm. And amongst the different concessions there. And I was a vegetarian at the time, so a lot of the concession stands wouldn't do me any good. And I didn't necessarily want to eat at the show. But I had the idea when I went this time, I would get myself a sub from Subway to take to work with me that night.
Uh-huh.
So, but I was a vegetarian, and they didn't really have a lot of options on the Subway cart, so I ended up paying like $7 or $8 for a 6-inch sub that was literally like cheese, lettuce, and mayonnaise.
Wow.
That doesn't sound like it would have been very filling.
This is why I will never be a vegetarian.
I like the bread, but...
It's like,
I still
A
enjoy
ham
this.
sub with some olives. Mwah. Mwah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's only like 3 different Power Rangers. You're going to have that thing in the next couple of years.
You took his phone and
Keep talking Power Rangers. Do it. Keep talking, please.
You gonna pay for
You
it?
paid for that phone.
I know. So if I want to break it, I'll break it.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
taking off the
slapping
cover.
Oh, it's a lovely photo of Randy Orton and Ric
That's a lot
Flair
of
and
blood.
he having bloodied Goldberg.
Yup.
Now that's not the Elimination Chamber. That might have been a match on Raw or something. It's just a more standard steel cage. Yeah.
How long did this go on?
This bit?
Yeah.
A good while. And we got about 4 more minutes of it.
Okay, thank God.
Felt
He
longer
has to
in
get
the
back
arena.
to his
But to be
Power
fair, we've
Rangers.
probably been watching it for we've been watching it for like 7 minutes now. So it's nearly a 15-minute segment.
Oof.
Speaking of, it's been 22 minutes. Do you remember their names?
Al Snow and Jonathan Coachman.
Okay, what's Al Snow's real name?
I don't know.
Al Sarvin.
Amazing.
Should have mentioned that earlier, but you know, I'm not gonna lie. Triple H, at least with his hair pulled back like that and clean shaven, he looks like he could be like Randy Orton's older brother,
Now we really gonna watch the Boo Saga.
or maybe his uncle. I'm assuming maybe Goldberg comes out and spears him before this is over, or maybe Steve comes out and has a dust up with
Nah,
him.
he gets all KO'd.
Randy's on his team though; they're buddies.
Anyone can get all KO'd anytime.
But, yeah, I don't remember this being a particularly good ending to Raw. Even watching at home, I would have been disappointed in this. Okay, here's some actual footage from the cage match we were just seeing the still from.
Which seems to be about half the frame rate.
It's videotape. It's literally still videotape.
Yeah, but it just looks a lot...
Well, what's the frame rate of
chunkier.
video? Like 24 frames per second?
I don't know, it looks a lot chunkier.
I mean, that's what film is.
Choppier, not chunkier.
You know, it looks fine, though. It's totally watchable. It's not like trying to watch some scrambled signal on old black and white TV when you can barely see anything.
Yup. That's exactly what it is to younger
Well, I never
Gen
had
Z.
to do that, so...
It's the closest equivalent to it.
I'm sorry, this looks
Angie face.
perfectly fine.
Angie.
Yeah, me would listen to you talk about videotape. Okay, I'm getting... It says that the frame rate of VHS tapes is 24, 25, 30.
Okay.
Does that mean you could get them in all 3?
I don't know.
I do know, like, when you record on videotape, you can record at different speeds so you can fit more onto the tape. I guess that could affect the frame rate.
Maybe.
But the 24 to 25 doesn't seem like enough of a jump. Because you could record in, like, SP, and then you could get 2 hours of videotape, and that was the highest quality. And you could record in LP, which would give you 4 hours of tape, and that was slightly less quality. And then you could record in, like, EP. I may have the last 2 designations wrong, but that would be 6 hours. And then there were some tapes that you could actually go up to 8 hours. I think it was still the same 3 settings, but it had longer intervals.
Oh, here he comes.
You know what Bill Goldberg's real name is? Bill Goldberg. Maybe William, I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, so we get a little bit of action here, but this
This
isn't
should
like...
get unbuttoned.
Probably.
I think he did it himself. This isn't like having a real hot match to close off the show, or even a real big angle. I mean, I wouldn't consider Goldberg just slamming Triple H to be...
Man, he
a
is
big
selling
angle.
that so hard that he is leaving the ring.
If it had been like his debut or something, it might have been...
Is he gonna like roll up the ramp? Roll backstage?
No, but that would be funny. He is crawling up the ramp.
Boy, I don't think you hit that hard.
I don't know, let Goldberg slam you and see how you're feeling.
Okay, but he gets slammed on the daily.
He had a reputation for being pretty stiff. Ended Bret Hart's career with the kick.
So, and instead of doing it where it looks real, it actually does it.
Nearly killed The Undertaker in one of Undertaker's last matches.
Ah.
when he couldn't hold him up for the jackhammer.
Seems like he was not that good at faking the things.
All right, well, that was
Oh, that
WWE's
sounds not
Monday
fake.
Night Raw from September 2003, September 15th, 2003 to be exact, I believe.
Nice.
I was there, and I remember almost none of that. I remember the disappointing end segment. Vaguely, I remember it was just, like I say, a lot of talking and a little bit of action. And I remember Lita's return. And other than that, I didn't remember much from it. And you can see why. It wasn't the most memorable Raw, and it wasn't the most memorable time.
Yeah.
Dylan's laughing because the next episode of Raw is playing, and he got to see the opening images of Bischoff and
It's mainly the
Austin.
Steve one. The Steve one is so fucking funny.
All right, well, anything else y'all want to say before we wrap this episode up?
I don't think so.
Power Rangers is cool.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you two for watching this with me. Thank everybody for listening along and watching along with us. Make sure you come back next time when the conversation will continue. Also, we should have announced this. We have a Patreon now.
That's fact.
Patreon.com/LexiConvo. LEXICONVO. $8 a month gets you a monthly sticker, probably drawn by Alex most of the time, and access to a bonus episode, plus the chance to vote on what the bonus episodes are going to be. So come hang out with us. Hopefully we can make a nice little community over there on Patreon.
Yeah.
And with that being said, until next time, I am and will continue to be Maddie.
Lexi.
Dylan.
And this is LexiCon Concluded.
Bye.